Why are wet markets an important part of the city, and how are officials, importantly, regulating them?
Yes, so there's been a lot of controversy over the wet markets, especially because one of them is suspected as the source of the origin of the virus. We visited a different wet market. It's really a vital lifeline to the cities and to cities all over China. It's where lots of people get their fresh fruits, their fresh vegetables, their meat. It's really more like a farmer's market in the U.S. The part that the Chinese government is trying to crack down and regulate is actually illegal trade of exotic animals, like bats, like pangolins, and also the live slaughtering of animals, which is something that is traditionally done, like chickens and fish are killed in front of you. We went to a different wet market where slaughtering has been banned. They have a huge banner up at the entrance, and we walked around the market. It was so chaotic, full of people, the most people we've seen in Wuhan in one place so far. But we didn't spot any, live animals or any exotic animals. And the people in the market told us that they've actually been operating throughout the outbreak because they have to supply food to the city, even as the outbreak was, intensified. And so there is a bit of, a mismatch between how it is perceived outside China and how crucial it is actually to the functioning of cities all across the country and even in Asia, because it's how a lot of people get their food and basic supplies.
You make a very good distinction, Sharon, in that wet markets can exist without the trade of live animals as well. That brings me to the next question. Is a complete ban on wet markets, first feasible and rational?
I don't think so, and I don't think that China would ever be able to do that. Across Asia in lots of different places. Like my mom in Singapore goes to a wet market every weekend. I think it's more about regulating what goes on inside the markets to make sure that there aren't live animals, there aren't exotic animals, there isn't slaughtering happening in unhygienic ways that are unsafe to the population. I think that is a distinction that the Chinese government understands and is also trying to clamp down on. But of course, it's extremely difficult. The country is so big. So many of these things are steeped in culture and have been going on for years and years. And there's always a chance that it continues to happen under the table, behind the scenes. Like it's a huge task to try to regulate these markets.
Sharon, you've been all over the city, of course, the airport, the train station, the wet markets, to do this fantastic reporting that you've been doing. You're now at an auto parts manufacturer, I believe, and we're talking about car sales because you've seen and reported on the fact that car sales in Wuhan are actually soaring after the lockdown.
Yeah, it was really surprising. We went to an Audi dealership and one that sells Cadillacs, and they were saying that they were so surprised. Like they had been shut for 2 months. When they came back to work, they expected there to be basically no customers. That consumption had been frozen in the city. They were expecting it to be really tough, but they've been seeing a constant stream of people coming in. People who want to buy second cars for their wives or for their family members or kids. People who think that private transport, having your own car, is much safer than public transport. And people now need to go back to work, and they're trying to figure out how to do that. And so, like, for example, the Audi dealership that we went to said that sales have already reached the same levels they were at last year, and that data is being borne out in national sales figures. We see them slowly getting back to the level they were last year, and it's a bit of a surprising kind of, throughout the outbreak, we've seen surprising industries benefit from people reacting to the virus, and this was one of them.